So, what are the important terms? We need to like focus on this. Some of the important terms when you're entering into the BIM industries. Okay, don't worry about it. What exactly is IFC, CD, and there are so many things are there. Okay, but when we are discussing in detail about this IFC, like yesterday, day before yesterday, we learned about the CD platform, what exactly the CD is, how it is working. Okay, what are the different types of CDs available into the market. Okay, which will be prioritized and which will be more important according to your workflow that we discussed. Similarly, some of the important terms we need to carry out or we need to understand before starting into the BIM, like what exactly the BEP, then this TIDP, MIDP. Okay, there are so many things will be available. Okay, those we need to make us a few standard before starting the projects. Okay, and administrating the work or maintaining your BIM data inside the your server or whatever the things that you are implementing inside your company. So where we need to understand this few terminologies. Okay, so we will discuss all of these things one by one in detail. Okay, not like today only you will not get a clear understanding what exactly this BEP and what exactly this MIDP, CD and all. Okay, so session by session we will discuss in detail about it. Like BEP is kind of basic uh, one document which we need to refer like to execute the entire project. Okay, so who is responsible for preparing the BEP, who is maintaining the document, who is checking as per the BEPs, like what are the roles and responsibilities along with that. So all those things we are discussing in detail. Okay, if you want to just make a note, you can make a note down of this no short forms and full forms what exactly it is. Okay, so I'll just give you one small no like brief on the IFC first, what exactly the IFC it is. So like everybody is aware about the CAD, okay, right? AutoCAD or any of the other softwares. So each and every software it has its individual file format. We can say like for CAD we have a .dwg file format. Okay, let's say we are learning the Revit in coming days. So for Revit we have .rvt file format. So when we are seeing into this industry entirely or the globally, people are working with the multiple trades or the multiple industries. Okay, let's say as a civil engineer or as an architect, I am specifically working towards like majorly working into this AutoCAD, Revit, 3ds Max or all other softwares which will be helpful for my understanding or which will be helpful me to execute my project things. But when you are like dealing with other industries, okay, again some kind of automobile industries, oil and gas industries, they have their different softwares, but they need some data from the your Revit or AutoCAD. In that case, they are not able to directly open any file in their software because that particular file format is not supported on the particular other software. Okay, let's say for example, you may know CATIA or SolidWorks. These are the mechanical softwares, right? If I have a .rvt file and if I want to open .rvt file in the CATIA, so it is not possible directly. Yes, somehow it is possible, but we have some other ways to export the particular file in different file format and then that append that particular file format into the respective softwares. So during that transaction, this IFC comes into the picture where the IFC is an open file format and allowable or appendable to all across the globe softwares basically, and it is named as a industry foundation class. Again, it has so many revisions or the versions, okay, according to your own standard like IFC 2 by 3, IFC 4 by 3. So definitely we will discuss in detail when we are exporting actually IFC from your Revit model. Okay, so that time I'll definitely explain you what exactly it is and how to export. Again, there are some settings to be defined while exporting this IFCs. Okay, so that is the main reason we need IFCs, and this is the completely open BIM file format. So anyone can directly take that particular IFC, they can append or they can insert that particular entire model in their software, and with respect to that particular whatever the geometry they have installed, according to that they can plan their activities. Okay, so this is the major things like we need to understand what exactly the IFC is. Similarly, we have the CD platforms that will be going in the next like in upcoming slide we will discuss in detail. Similarly about the federated model, BEPs and so many things. Okay. Okay, so then common data environment. So we discussed in last session what is the traditional method for maintaining the data and what is the common data environment. Okay, so like I hope if you people understood what exactly the CD means, how the things are going on CD, how to manage it, everything last time I have explained. Now, if you see on your right hand side, okay, I have mentioned most popular CD platforms, the people those like people they are using or implementing in their industries. Okay, so definitely first will be your Autodesk BIM 360 that is coming from Autodesk industry, or it is renamed as a Autodesk Construction Cloud recently. Okay, it has the multiple modules. Okay, so with respect to your workflow, with respect to your what we can say, the data management or what exactly you want to do, because you can do the project management, you can do the cost management, so all options will be available inside this BIM 360 or the ACC. Okay, so what exactly you want to do with the particular module, that you need to select and set up your project on the particular platform. This is from Autodesk. Second, we have this project wise. This is coming from the Bentley systems. Okay, so project wise is much more similar to this. Only the thing is, with respect to file format, we cannot run the automatic clash detection in the project wise. So rest all similar things we can perform. Whatever the things we are doing in BIM 360 or in ACC, similar things we can perform in project wise as well. And lastly, we have a SharePoint. So SharePoint, it's not kind of a common data environment because it has certain limitations again. Okay, this is a just example why I'm showing you a SharePoint, because in SharePoint you can store the files, but you cannot view the file. Okay, let's say I have uploaded one DWG document or the one Revit file or one 3D model in BIM 360 or in project wise. If I click that particular model, I can visualize it, I can view a 3D model, even I can do the walkthrough, even I can render some things if I want to uh, see some properties. Okay, what are the dimensions of the door, or what are the dimensions of the no, windows. That possibility is available inside BIM 360 or inside the project views. But in SharePoint or in other only CD platform, where you can just store the documents, but you cannot perform the actions, or you cannot manage the things on the cloud basically. So these are the basic differences, or no, what we can say, the capabilities that you can perform with respect to some of the CD platforms. Okay, now coming to the next point, we have one concept in BIM like BIM dimensions. Okay, now what exactly the BIM dimensions is? Okay, so for everybody is knows like or well aware about 2D and 3D. Okay, so 2D means we are when we are dealing with only x and y axis. Okay, then we are shifted to 3D. So 3D means like whatever the things we are creating in 2D. So if you want to visualize something inside a 3D or in 3D environment, then the particular z axis will comes into the picture, and you can visualize any model or any geometry or any object in 3D mode or in 3D visualizations. But when we are focusing to BIM, or when we are focusing into like some advanced technologies like BIM, so we have certain no additional dimensions, okay, to be visualized or to be monitored for the particular project, or for the or any particular object, or we can say any product. Okay, so how the particular things will be happening with respect to the execution, with respect to the cost, with respect to the performance, everything. Okay, so related to this factor itself, okay, we have like 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, and 8D. Okay, till now in India we are majorly working till 7D itself. 8D and 9D, these are still under the review, or this has not published for the public use. Okay, so some of the US and British consultant, those like people, they have a good experience, or they are no doing some R&D in this field. They are developing their things with respect to 8D and 9D. Okay, now what exactly the 4D? Okay, so once your 3D model is ready, so we need to understand how much time. Okay, so we have in one term, if you say 3D is your 3D virtual model, 4D is nothing but your time. Okay, 5D if I say is nothing but your cost, 6D and 7D. Okay, that is again an advanced term. So let's first focus on 4D and 5D. So 4D is nothing but with respect to your time. So how your planning activity is happening. Okay, on which date, on which month you supposed to plan your activities. Like let's say, for example, if I said my foundation started from 1st of July or 1st of September. Okay, what happened after 15 days? Okay, so 15th of September I need to start my first lab. Okay, so that particular thing in terms of visualization we specifically says of 4D simulations that is also possible inside the BIM and with respect to planning activity. Okay, who is going to take care of which particular part on which day. Okay, let's say after 2 days how much task has been completed. Everything we can track with respect to this scheduling, or we can say with respect to 4D simulations. Okay, it has a two parameter basically. One is your scheduling parameter with respect to the planning activity, what we are doing inside Primavera or what we are doing inside the Microsoft project. So if you know how planning engineer works, so the particular planning engineer is responsible for managing these things inside the Primavera and Microsoft project. So the same data we need to link to our 3D BIM model and we need to visualize and we need to perform the further actions. Okay. Similarly, once that 4D has done or 4D part is completed, we need to go to the 5D. Okay, that is nothing but the cost. Okay, so once your 3D model is done, when your planning activity is also done, then we need to focus into the cost parameter. Okay, so while performing any single activity, how much cost you are spending on the particular activity. Okay, so for that, with respect to each and every object or with respect to each and every element, we can actually track the cost. Okay, again, if you go into this, in traditional way, how people usually they are dealing with the cost. So one person will be estimating few things, then he's saying, okay, this much of cost you need. Then he order the material, then he material will be dropped on the sites, then he no executed the things, and then he raised the bills. Okay, so this much tedious process, if you are shifted to completely on the BIM or into the digital side, the entire process will be labs, or we are no need to consider those process. We are directly shifting. You have a model, you have a cost, you can directly order. You can responsible person, like if you say the procurement team or the any of the team, just raise the query from the cloud itself to them. They will order the material, everything will be no comes onto the site, and all the bills, everything will be raised from the particular system itself. So this is how we can track the cost. And one more thing that we can do, the real-time monitoring. Okay, so what exactly the real-time monitoring means? So let's say one column is casted on site, it will automatically reflect the same thing on your BIM model. So definitely one person needs to monitor those things and he need to make necessary changes inside the cloud to so the management or the administrative people, they came to know, okay, this much work has been done on the side and this much cost I have spent till now, till date, for the particular project or the for the particular activity. So everything will be onto the digital. So how usually people they are doing this visiting site visits, then weekly happening the site meetings on site. Those things will be avoided and everything will be centralized. So no need to travel on site, no need to, or even if you are again going one step ahead like AR VR, and if you are setting few things on the sites, even no need to monitor the system with respect to the person. Okay, whatever the things you are doing, the if you're posting one camera on the sites, it will record everything and it will give automatic result to the cloud systems. Okay, similarly we have this facility management, then sustainability and the health and safety management. Okay, so here we have this 3D shared information. Okay, we can say 3D rich model which will be having with respect to all the services, architecture, structure, then MEPF. In MEPF also we have the multiple things will be available, like it may have the plumbing part separate, you may find this electrical separate, then sprinkler separate, and HVAC ducting is separate. Okay, now just a minute. So what exactly this clash detections? So while performing 4D simulations, we need to do the clash detection as well. Okay, before the 4D simulations, whatever the model you have received. Okay, so last time I told you like we have a three particular vendors or the three particular suppliers. Like architecture is separate, structure one is separate, MEPF is separate. When they all submitted the model to the one BIM consultant or let's say BIM coordinator who is a part of the particular project, so his roles and responsibilities needs to first QC the model, then second he needs to review all the models, check whether the data has been they created as per their standard or not, and third he need to check the clashes. Okay, so what exactly the clashes means or what exactly the clash detections? Let's say MEPF duct is clashing with any of the architecture element or any of the structural element. Okay, while performing their planning activity. Okay, so those things were basically comes under the clash detections, and that we need to check whether your model is clash free or not. Okay, so how we are checking those things? We have, I think, a small video. We'll just show you. Okay, I think it's not running. I'll just show you here. So here, once you imported the model now, if you see, you need to select what versus what we need to run the collision check. Let's say I have selected the architecture model versus MEPF model, suppose. So you can see whenever you are clicking on the particular things, you can directly appear the some of the clashes over here. So might he has run the this clash check with respect to architecture and structure element. So few beams or few things are clashing with the floor element if you see, and it will be highlighted into the red and green color. Okay, so this is how you can actually generate the collision check or we can say the clash check for the model. And once you found the multiple clashes, what you need to do? Okay, so now the particular person like BIM coordinator or the BIM consultant, his or her responsibility to conduct a one coordination meeting and address those issues or address those collisions to the project team members. Okay, maybe the management, maybe the suppliers, those who actually work on this. Okay, and in this meeting, he or she needs to give the guidelines to the project team members or the suppliers on or before the particular due date. They need to update those things. Okay, so with respect to some certain few intervals, those coordination meetings will be happening. Okay, and with respect to like maybe 2 to 3 months, like once your model is done and when once your complete model has been clash free, then particular model has been approved for the construction or approved for the GFC drawings, like whatever the drawings we are issuing from this BIM models. So after that only we are issuing this GFC drawings. So this is how the complete process we need to understand, like how exactly the things are working with respect to the 3D to 4D. So far we worked on 3D model, then we go for the clash detection. Then once your clash free model has been submitted to them, then your next steps will start, like to understand or to estimate the costing part further. Okay, so along with that, the 4D simulation. So this is with respect to the proper planning activity. So if you see the start date, end date on the bottom side, and here the activity. Okay, the similar thing what we are preparing in MSP or in the Primavera, same thing. If you are like directly, we need to link that particular file here and only assign the issues. Like here, suppose you have a supposed basic 3D model. Okay, that 3D model, we need to select the element and link this element to the activity. Okay, so when we are running this particular simulations video, it will be run with respect to the cost, with respect to the material, everything it will give you in detail. Okay, so I'll just show you that video as well, how it looks. Okay, so if you see here, once you assign everything with respect to the date on the top hand side, you can see, okay, how much material cost I'm spending, how much equipment cost I'm spending, how much labor cost, total cost, subcontractor cost. Okay, only thing is you cannot see the day, this day and time because of this. If you see on the top end, okay, how much week, how much days. I'm not able to like. Is it visible? The top line.
Can you pause it so people can see?
Is it visible, Vishwesh?
Yeah, it's
So here,
visible on the top bar.
exactly. So here it will give you the date, current like date, time, and how much days. So for like executing any for this particular building up to this stage, it has taken 219 days, 32 weeks, and up to this how much cost they have spent. You can see the floor wise as well. Okay, so for doors, this much cost has been spent. The 90% door has been constructed, and the cost has been spent for this material cost. You can see here. If you want to segregate this cost, how much cost you spend for doors, walls, that is also possible. So for in that case, we generally called is like BOQs, or the uh, what we can say. Mm, we are extracting that particular data from your Revit model, so that you will get into the Excel format, and you can link those data either in a, simulation video, or you can prepare a dashboards to showcase to your management, like this much cost I have spent for this many items or this many details. Okay, and now coming to the 5D part, if you see, so here you will get each and every item with respect to the cost, unit cost, total cost, everything. Okay, so for cost also, may have the multiple softwares, or we can say the multiple things to do. Okay, so only the thing is the proper software and what exactly you are doing. Okay, so most of the people, they are creating the models inside the Revit, but they are not using the Navisworks. Okay, so it may have, they have the multiple items similar to the Naviswork according to their industry standard or their industry use. Okay, now what exactly the 6D and 7D part? So once your model is prepared and once your model is ready and almost your model building is also constructed. So if you want to analyze how your building will perform after the construction. Okay. Now means what exactly we need to understand. Building analysis means what? Okay. So it may be a daylight analysis. It may be your energy analysis. It may be your building performance with respect to the situations. Okay, like how your building will perform in summer, how your building will perform in like winter or into the rainy season. Okay, so based on your multiple parameters, okay, this building analysis will be done inside the Revit itself with respect to one add-in tool, and that is a Revit Insight. Okay, if you search Revit Insight, it will give you the result how they are performing the building analysis. Okay, I'll give you one small example. Like I want to perform or want to understand the daylight analysis. Okay, so once my model is ready or once my construction is completed, then if I want to analyze, okay, with respect to my wall window ratio, okay, how much energy saving I'm doing with respect to floor wise or with respect to the entire building. Okay, so let's say if I have a small area, or the if I put door and windows in proper what we can say proper directions. Okay, like uh, maybe into the north or into the south, okay, into the proper directions. And if sunlight is coming inside the room properly, then definitely my energy consumption for the particular building will be less. And if you compare that data in the year, so where if you compare the costing that you are saving, that may be into the lakhs of unit per unit, I'm saying the in only for the energy consumptions. Similarly, if you are performing the energy analysis, or similarly if you are performing the analysis for this temperature. Okay, if you see any of the commercial building or any of the hospitality building where we have the HVAC system is there. Then we have the chillers, AHUs. We have the no centralized AC units. So many things. Okay, if with respect to the people, if you have a less occupant inside the room, automatically the particular ACs will be switched off, or the temperature will get into the higher sides, because let's say 5 people is not needed that much ACs, or that much temperature. So those things can be controlled by setting into the one place. No need to like how in nowadays we are controlling with respect to the remotes or with respect to the buttons. That is like feasible only for the small building. What about the public building, or what about the no big commercial structures? Nobody is there, because one facility manager needs to take care of the building. So you cannot hire one person to just control the ACs, right? So where if you see, that concept is nothing but your BMS plus facility management, where we are actually controlling those things. Okay, so likewise, we have the multiple parameters. Definitely, we'll go in detail when we are discussing these things in advance. Okay, so like when we are preparing a one small model, then definitely I'll try to showcase how the energy analysis is happening. Okay, what all are the parameter? I told you only one parameter like delta analysis, and delta analysis is based on only I told you wall window ratio. So that delta analysis may happen with respect to other factor as well. Okay, what happen if I not provide a window? Or what happen if I provide a transparent window? Okay, so there are so many things available for the energy analysis itself, or for only for one parameter. Okay, so likewise, we need to understand the concept of sustainability and the facility management. So this is the one again important data what we required for facility management. Okay, now what exactly I'll tell you the facility management, why we need this data. So when we are preparing the model, so inside the model, we are placing the asset. Okay, asset means the electrical devices, CCTV cameras, AHUs, all the electrical equipment or the mechanical equipment. Okay, so when we are purchasing those mechanical equipments, we are not keeping the records anywhere. Okay, so might we get the, let's say I purchase 10 cameras from X company. He has given 10 cameras. Okay, but I don't have anything. He just give me the invoice and one Excel sheet where he has given the like maybe the some serial number for the cameras and some detail information. So in traditional way, we usually keep this everything in the laptop. We install on site, and we will check all those cameras are working fine or not in one of the CCTV or one of the big screen. That's it. Okay, we are not linking the data inside the model. But when it comes to the facility management, or when it comes to the 7D part, okay, we are generating all the data inside the model itself. And for that data, we specifically called the COBie data. What exactly the COBie is? The construction operation building information exchange. Okay, so whatever the building you're constructing, to operate that building, basically you need the data. Okay, operation means once let's say your commercial building is done or like completed. So you can take example of IT park. So all the IT park are in operations. So someone is monitoring those IT parks, like they are taking care of it, whether all the ACs or all the no electrical mechanical equipments are working fine or not. Okay, that is into the older way. They need a manpower to work on it and to take care of the things. But if you have a COBie data, so everything will be virtual and everything will be linked to the cloud model. Okay, if something happen suddenly on the particular building, it will give you a message, or it will give you a alarm to the particular person who is taking care of this. Okay, so no need to again go in the back to check all the details. So if you particular person or the particular no responsible person, he has click on the model, he will get all the details. Okay, let's say one camera is not working again, he will click on the particular thing and he will get all the details. Okay, maybe the what will be the expiry date, what will be the when the particular camera has been installed on this building. Okay, what is the next maintenance date. Okay, who is a vendor, what is the cost. Okay, what is the website, everything. Okay, it may have around, I think around for one element, more than 100 parameters are there. Okay, contact number, designation, who has last time, who has what we can say, uh, the person who came for the maintenance now. So even the person names also they're mentioning. Okay, so it's more than the 100 parameter, I guess. I have one small COBie sheet. I will show you when I'll be on site. So this many parameters we need to link actually to the models, and when that model is completely linked, then they are providing the sensor to automate the things basically. Okay, that is nothing but the BMS part. That is a completely advanced part. As in a civil or mechanical engineer, we no need to focus into this because that's completely depend on the IT segment. So this is nothing but your COBIes and advanced facility management. Okay, so this we already discussed about the facility management. So in which domains it may work. Okay, so it's not responsible like related to only our industry. Okay, it may be for the multiple industries we can use. Okay, for everything, not only we can say building. Okay, if you see the landscaping. Okay, in gardening also you can provide some facility management, or you can provide some automations to provide the waters for the trees. That is also possible. Okay, and this is about health and safety. So whatever the things so far uh, BS standard has released with respect to 8D is basically they are developing the some standard to maintain the safety policies, or to maintain that particular culture on site. Okay, so what are the provisions that those can be taken care? Okay, with respect to safety points, the particular safety engineer needs to fill the daily logs inside the cloud management to uh, submit his or her report on daily basis. Right now, the particular person is coming on site, he's filling somewhere or some into the Excel. Then second day he's sending that Excel, and no photos will be captured. So if you have that any of the CD platform, you can actually directly capture the photo, and automatically it will get uploaded with respect to the building or with respect to the particular person. So those kind of advancement will be available inside this CD, and all the dimensions what we discussed so far, those will be linked to the cloud model. Then we have the maturity levels. So now you need to understand three parameter first. Okay, one is BIM dimensions, that is a different part. Second, we have a BIM maturity levels, that is somehow different, not completely. I mean, and third we have a LOD part, like level of development or a level of detail. Okay, so that is a different part. Now, what exactly the BIM maturity levels? So, still in US or UK, people they are referring the BIM levels itself, BIM maturity levels. Okay, with respect to when it was in the level 0, if you see people they are only used to work with the CAD environment. Okay, then slightly they moved to level 1, then they started with respect to 2D to 3D somehow. Then level 2 people they introduce this advanced concept 3D, 4D, 5D concept like this. Okay, so advanced parameter. And level 3 it's completely iBeam is nothing but the open beam or the cloud beam, completely AI based integrated. Okay, so BIM is not limited only for our industry. It may completely varied to the even the advanced like some of the IT technologies, like it may be the AI, ML, the integration. Okay, it may in future which will be linked all the datas to the no IoTs. They maybe the big datas, the data analysis. Those things are also possible with respect to your BIM model. Now into this industry, still people are using level 2 to level 3, not more than like mostly people are still using this level 2 only because it is restricted up to the 7D. Level 3 is in somehow project you can see the open beam standard they have adopted. Okay, or this ISO standard like some beam standard what we are discussing like ISO 19560, those has been adopted up to the level 2. Okay, but when we are thinking about the level 3, that is completely the kind of a beam automation part. So that is the advanced level. And with respect to this, if you see the levels here, okay. Now here, if you see, we compared level with respect to the dimensions, and on this screen with respect to the collaboration. Means in CAD, we are not collaborating with anyone. Only one person is individually working. Once he has completed the work here, he is directly handovering the work put to the next person. But when we are doing this 3D part or the 4D 5D part, this is completely full collaboration part, level 2 if you see. Now how exactly the full collaboration? So whatever the things you are working, the X person is working, so that entire data is linked to the cloud model, and all the peoples or all the project participants are also linked to the cloud model. So whatever the things he is working is directly reflected onto the cloud. No need to send the data to individual person. So this is a complete full collaboration. And when we are seeing this completely advanced beam into the 6D and 7D and further on, this is a full integration. Now why this integration terms comes into the picture? We are integrating something with respect to our beam model. Now what we are integrating here, the building performance analysis, then COBie's data, facility management, BMS, AI, digital twin. This is nothing but your complete full integration. So we are integrating something with respect to the existing structure. Okay, so you just keep in mind maturity level with respect to the dimensions, how it works, and with respect to the integration, how it works. Okay, clear? Is it clear so far? Any doubt? Yes, no.
Continue, Rahul.
Okay.
Anybody in meeting? Students?
Everybody's sleeping, man.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Janmashtami. Charge up, students. Chalo. Yeah,
Yes,
Rahul,
ma'am, we are here.
continue.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
मैम इधर
So
ही
when
है.
we'll meet, no, when we'll meet first time, then might be people are
Yeah.
comfortable to speak, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so now next, what is a LOD? Okay, so we discussed so far maturity levels and BIM dimensions. The third point, what I told you, that is a LOD. Now, what is BIM LOD? Okay, so we specifically have a 5 types of LODs, like level of development. Okay, that is LOD 100, 200, 300. There is another one 350, 400, and 500. Okay, so like whenever we are seeing like let's say, for example, I will give a small example. If you want to develop one project, okay, so then the owner or stakeholder, first they will go to architect. Then architect, what he or she will do, he will create a one basic conceptual planning or the initial sketch. What exactly he or she will just take a understanding what exactly need to develop. So during this stage, like when we are seeing the conceptualization or the initial planning, or we can say the initialization. So for this particular stage, generally we called a LOD 100 model. Okay, I'm just telling this example with respect to our scenario in construction industry scenario. But if you see on your right hand side, the one first initially we have only one small box. Okay, this is your only LOD 100 model because it doesn't contain anything, just a small box. Then we have LOD 200. So when we are increasing the LOD, the parameters associated with the object will get increased. Okay, I will give you example of this chair that is more helpful for you. If you see, when we are seeing the LOD 100, okay, you don't have any parameters. Okay, means only the rough sketch. The chair means, let's say, might be the images are here and there. Actually, your LOD 100 is the third image. If you see third image, 100, it doesn't have any shape. Nothing is there. Only the boxes are there. Okay, but when you are going to LOD 200, the second image, if you ever, we just adjusted few things. Okay, then we say like LOD 300, you can consider fourth yellow images. Okay, we may given some shapes or the color. Then when we see LOD 400, if you see the last image, Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So with respect to that, and when we are seeing the LOD 500, you can see that the first image, it's completely developed one. Okay. So this is just a scenario, but when you see the data, okay. So when you are upgrading or developing the LODs in higher side, your multiple parameter comes into the picture. Okay, so right now when you see the LOD 100, you don't have data, only the rough sketch. You don't know what is the height, you don't know what is the width, you don't know depth, nothing you don't know. Okay, but when you are going for this LOD 200, you actually able to define few parameters, at least length, width, height. Again, if you go in detail, then might you define, okay, what is the curvature, what is the surface, what is the radius for the no curve, those things. Then when you are going one more again in detail, then you might like think about, I want which type of a chair, whether it is rotational, whether it is a comfortable office chair, normal chair. Okay, that you can define. And when we are saying the LOD 500, it's completely as built, who has manufacturer, when, what exactly, all the parameters. Okay, so this LOD is basically depends on this parameter itself, but only for your understanding, I'm just trying to explain with respect to the images, but ultimately it depends on to the parameter itself. Okay, what kind of information you are providing at what level? Because when you are working in, like if you tomorrow you are working in any of the industry, the client will ask you, I want LOD 350 model. So definitely when he asks LOD 350, you should understood like I need to, what exactly I need to give. So you need to give the LOD for 350, the construction design stage. So for executing the things, what what he or she required. Okay, so definitely they require the 3D model with GFC drawings. GFC drawing means the detailed floor plan. Okay, so again for this particular detail floor plan, what kind of a details you have provided? Okay, whether he asks for LOD 500 means, let's say even nut and bolt, what is the diameter of the nut, what is the diameter of that bolt? Okay, everything you need to provide in LOD 500. But if they ask only for LOD 350, then you need to provide only the certain parameters, what is predominantly or the mostly useful in the particular scenario or into the particular construction industry. Okay, so don't worry about it. We will definitely discuss what are the parameters required for LOD 350, what are the parameters required for LOD 400, and as per the market study or market scenario, mostly people are using in between 350 to 400, because in India no one is going beyond LOD 400. When it comes to the as-built, costing will also get increased, and other parameters like we need to prepare the COBie's data as well. So that is not the case in the India right now. Still people they are strict with LOD 350 to 400 max to max. Okay, and next we have the BIM standard. So earlier, before 2018, this ISO 19650 called as a pass 1192. Okay, and after 2018, it has renamed as a ISO 19650, and it has a certain part like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and part 5. Okay, so like why this standards comes into the picture? That's the first question. Because if you don't have the standard, like means before 2018 or before this also, we are people used to or supposed to develop BIM models, but it has observed uh, with respect to the no year on year, like when we are specifically defining few things, like even we have some standard for our, we have a building standard, we have the PWD standard, we have the some kind of other standard. Even in our your curriculum also, you learn might be some few standard with respect to the design management. Okay, so everywhere we need to maintain the standards to make the particular model or to make the particular building will be uh, globally recognized, or we can say globally accepted for everyone. Okay, it should not happen like X company is doing in other way and Y company is performing the same thing in the different standard. Okay, so to maintain everything at one platform and it will be equivalent for everyone to be accessible, So they made this standard, and the standard has renamed as a ISO 19650 in 2018. And they have released a few parts like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and they have maintained some of the uh, key terminologies or the few standards. How, like, let's say for example, first part is completely about the conceptualization and organization. So what exactly concept you need to understand, how to organize your team or the structure before starting implementing the BIM. Then once you implemented the BIM, second part is the delivery phase of asset. Okay, so when you are working on any of the project, what exactly you need to deliver? Okay, in which format? Okay, what are the standards to be delivered? Okay, which kind of a data format you need to hand over? What kind of a sheets you need to hand over? What is the certain standard file format to be no work for the collision check? What are the standard file format to be referred on site to execute the things? Okay, there are so many parameters you may find under these parts. Then we have part 3, part 4, part 5. Okay, part 5, which will be the completely advanced with respect to the security minded approach. Okay, if you search on Google, it is not released, I guess, only till part 3 or part 4 people they are using, but part 5 and part 6 are under like draft condition only. BSI, they are working on it to be how we are achieve the security minded approach with respect to your BIM data, because as I said, this data is very important. Okay, so those data can be retained, or how we can easily sorry, how we cannot easily transfer the data to the other stakeholders or to retain those things. So there are multiple parameters. Those things will be mostly related to the IT industries, not to our civil or to the mechanical one. But still we need to understand the parameters, and still we need to understand the process. Okay, how the workflow they have defined for this security minded approach. Okay, now this may be the good slide for you to understand after completing the course or once you enter into the industry. Okay, what are the different types of role you will find in BIM industry, and what may be the roles and responsibilities you need to take care with respect to your designation. Okay, so whatever the things right now I'm showcasing, this is not only for these three trades. You may find the multiple things. Okay, but the basic things, or the when you are entering into this any of the industry, you definitely start with either as a BIM modeler or no as a BIM technician role. So what exactly you need for this particular thing? Okay, so with respect to the your degree, you may need to well versed with of the software like AutoCAD, you may know, or then your Revit, Naviswork, and any of the cloud platform. Okay, so these are the prerequisite to enter into the BIM industry. And with respect to your experience, then your skill set, your position or the designation will get upgraded. With respect to the modeler, then you may after 2 or 3 years of experience, you can promoted as a BIM coordinator only for one discipline, you can say, like architecture, structure, and then uh, MEPF. Again, after 5 or 6 years of experience, you may get promoted as a BIM lead coordinator that will be responsible for the coordinating the things with respect to the stakeholder, with respect to the supplier, and he or she can manage the complete team of a modelers. Okay, and above that we may have a BIM manager, that is a whole and sole person who is actually driving the entire team and defining the goal and defining the BIM scope of work for their team. So what we discussed in the first or second slide, that is a BEP, MIDP. Okay, those documents needs to be defined by BIM manager, or a, above that also we may have a BIM guide or the no BIM chief experts, those who are specialized in the specific domain itself. Okay, so BIM manager may be the only for the one of the project, or maybe responsible to execute the things inside the office only. But above that, if you are having a BIM expert or a BIM advisor, they are actually consulting the peoples, okay, to the multiple industries, maybe the retail, maybe the real estate industries, maybe the oil and gas industries. They are like advising the things how the workflow is happening, how they are no implementing the things, help them to set up the BIM implementation plan. Okay, roll out the team members into the on sites, understanding the few things, guiding them. So those kind of things are the responsibilities BIM advisor or the BIM chief experts they're handling basically. Okay, and with respect to the career growth and with respect to salary part, so these are the average salaries, not strict with the industry. If you are going to the IT industry with respect to your BIM domain, definitely you may get a good salary. But this is the minimum ranges you may find when you're entering into the BIM industry. So if you say you are starting with the as a BIM modeler for any of the one discipline, okay, so your starting salary will be like minimum 25,000 per month. There's a minimum again, and which will be like average one. If you are expert into this modeling concept and you are expert into the MEP of domain, then definitely your minimum salary will be around 30 to 40,000, depending on into the trade and depending into your skill set what you have. Because uh, in Revit also it is not a one, we don't have any like single domain. Like if you know architecture you will directly get a job. Okay, there are multiple domains are there, like we have architecture, structure, MEPF. Again we have a family creation. If X person is expert in family creation, okay, he or she can directly get a good job in one of the product based companies. Okay, what exactly the product based company means, the companies who are developing their own product like CCTV cameras. So somewhere they need to develop a cameras inside the Revit itself. Okay, multiple types of camera. So we need to create a family for the particular camera, or we need to create a family for the door, or we need to create a family for the any of the element. Okay, n number of element are there. Okay, so those companies are actively looking or recruiting the people, those who knows a family creation inside their domain. Okay, I'm not saying only for the HVAC, it may be for architecture or structure industry as well. Okay, so these are your skill set. So when we are actually like learning the Revit, that time you can know try to find out your area of expertise. Okay, let's say maybe X person can say I want to visualize the things in better manner, so my area of expertise will be in architecture. Okay, if anybody is interested to develop few things into the MEPF, so he or she can say no, I can develop good families, so I will try to learn more things into the family creations. So this will be the area of expertise. It is not restricted only to the one industry, like you entered into the BIM, so now you need to learn the complete thing. No, if you have one expertise which will be into the good sense, that will easily you will get a job, well paid good job to enter into the MNC companies as well.